Dude, I'm like nervous a little bit. What the heck?
Why are you nervous?
I don't know why I'm nervous. I wanted it to be good.
Should we leave this part in the first episode?
We should fade in. Let's like fade in. You know
okay,
what I mean?
yeah.
Right.
I like it. I like that.
That's good.
Hello, everyone. This is probably all family and friends at this point, but this is the first ever, the inaugural episode, if you will, of The Cook and the Coach.
The Genesis.
I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while, and Ken's had a similar feeling as well, and decided to collaborate on this project and go forth with it.
Okay, so it's called Cook and the Coach. I love to cook. I love making food for people and with people. It's always been something I've really loved. And Bay is an incredible coach. He played just a ton of sports. He's currently a coach at high school, and he's been killing it. That's
right. So we're both taking our personal endeavors, our personal interests, and bringing them onto the podcast. But we're also going to be talking a lot about movies, music, entertainment in general, because we're both really passionate about that as well. These podcasts will be centered around all that kind of stuff, but we're also, from time to time, bringing our personal interests, try to teach you guys about certain things that we're involved in, maybe bring in some guests in the future and have them talk about their endeavors and their experiences as well. So yeah.
Dude, I'm excited. This is fun
as well. It's happening, man.
I feel professional right now. I do, even though the earbuds are crappy and everything. This is fun.
I don't feel so professional holding this microphone.
You don't.
I'm not gonna lie.
A little behind the scenes. So Bay's just got this really nice mic, and for whatever reason, we can't connect it to the actual stand, and we're heartbroken about it.
I blame the guy at Guitar Center. I blame him. Yeah, it's all right though. We'll figure it out.
We'll get there.
I do want to start getting a camera and recording these podcasts on video at some point.
I'm down.
For right now, we'll stick with the audio.
Yes, imagination. I listened to so much radio theater when I was a little kid.
I know you did.
So much, man.
That's why I thought you were a nerd the first time I saw you.
Oh, man, dude. Right away. Dude, well, let's get into it. So This week we are talking about the new Star Wars movie that just came out.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker. Episode 9, was it?
Episode 9. Yep.
Yeah, so me and Baze, we saw that 2 nights ago, right?
Today's Sunday. Yeah, we saw it Friday night. Do you want to start with your experience with Star Wars, your intro to it, what it meant to you growing up?
I loved Star Wars growing up. It was the best, man. I remember it was kind of like a coming of age thing a little bit, because that was one of those movies that was made for adults, but my parents would let me watch and like progressively like, okay, you can see episode 4. Episode 5 is a little bit more intense, but I think you're old enough now you can watch that one. Episode 6 has the Emperor, so this one's a little bit tense, like watch through your fingers for parts, but like you can watch it. So I have like fond memories of that. And then the prequels, like 1, 2, and 3, those were... I was so little that I didn't realize that they weren't great. But I remember like episode 2, I watched it with my dad in, I forget which theater, but it's one of my fondest memories, actually, like coming out of the theater just freaking out because like Yoda had these incredible fight scenes, and I was like, did you see that? I'm like jumping up and down, and my dad's like laughing. Yeah. So it's important to me, man. Like I always liked those movies. I wouldn't say I'm like a super fan or anything like that. I don't know a ton of the lore. I have never read any of the books that have come out about it or any of the other shows, but I really like it.
For sure. I actually had a very different experience with Star Wars because it was like something that a lot of my friends were into, but like growing up in my household, like big blockbuster movies like that were like not like, I don't want to say like not allowed, but like definitely not encouraged.
Not smiled upon?
No. So it actually wasn't until college that I watched Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
You never had seen any of them until
Nope. None of them.
Really?
Yep.
So people were making references and you just didn't know what was going on.
That's the whole thing though, right? Because like Star Wars is like such a big part of American culture and like American like lore that like, you know, like, I don't know, like people like refer to like certain like characters or like certain like phrases and like you already know them, even though you don't like haven't seen anything of it. Yeah. Like you know kind of like the gist of the story.
The Darth Vader helmet, I heard, is like one of the most recognizable symbols.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like around the world.
Like I was learning as a kid, like pretending to be like Darth Vader and like with his mask on. Even if they didn't see the show or the movie or whatever, I know what's going on. Yeah. So, But the funny thing is, like, I was super into like Narnia and
Same.
Like, what else was I into? It was mostly that, kind of like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit too,
Yep.
growing up. So I was super into like the fancy, like nerdy stuff as a kid. And then when I got into college, my roommate Trent, freshman year, he introduced me to Harry Potter. So I got super into that.
Right.
And then, you know, one day I think we were in our room. Shout out to Trent, by the way. One day we were in our room. We were just hanging out talking, and he like brought up a Star Wars reference. I didn't get it. He's like, "What do you mean you don't get this reference?" I'm like, "I've never seen Star Wars." And like his face was like,
It's brave.
yeah. He like was like freaking like, "Never seen Star Wars?" So like that weekend, he like sat me down and we literally watched like all three.
Wow.
Of like 4, 5, and 6. We watched all 3 movies, and then I was like, "Oh, this like this shit is amazing."
You liked it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I loved it. Off rip, I loved it. So then I ended up watching 1, 2, 3 on my own. And then of course, The Force Awakens Episode 6 comes out a couple years later in college, and you know, at that point, I was already a fan of Star Wars. So everyone knows episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you've seen those and have your own opinion of those movies. Before we get into the review of Rise of Skywalker, can we talk about Force Awakens, Last Jedi, even possibly even Rogue One Solo? What are your thoughts on the new generation of films?
I do like the new Star Wars movies. I enjoy watching them, generally speaking. I've seen, I'm forgetting the names, but I saw 7 and 8, and I saw Rogue One, but I never saw Solo. Did you see Solo?
I did see Solo.
Okay. So I've seen 3, but not Solo, and then we just watched 9. And I don't know. I think they're fun. I think of the 3 new ones that came out, I think 8 is my favorite. Last Jedi, right? I think that's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Last Jedi I think
8.
was my favorite of those 3. But like I acknowledge like all of my siblings like they rip on the new ones so much and they don't like them at all. And
Really?
so and they go hard into like deep YouTube wormholes of like reviews and like deep cuts of like
You're just like me.
They know about pre-production, post-production, like what screenings were popular, like they know all that stuff. And so I hear all these like so like I went and I saw Last Jedi, and I had such a good time. I got emotional. I think a tear fell, or like I welled up. Like
Really?
I did.
Really?
There was a part or two where I was like, this is fun. Like I liked they were on that island, and there were just like different parts about it I really enjoyed. But then then you go and you're just on YouTube, and every thumbnail is like The Last Jedi.
A cinematic failure.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And I'm like, okay, clearly I'm wrong to like this movie. But I do. Like I feel like I don't need to defend it from like this is a quality piece of art. But I had a good time. It was fun. What did you think about the ones the new series before the one we just saw?
Force Awakens, good movie.
Okay.
Well done.
It was fun.
I enjoyed it. Even though it was basically A New Hope, but the 2019 version, still super fun, still super exciting. Rogue One, severely underrated movie. So good.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of like almost a spy movie a little bit. Like
exactly. But
almost like a bank robbery movie a little bit, like a heist or something a little.
Leslie Jones was amazing in that movie. Like I think she was super underrated in that.
It was very stylistically different than the other Star Wars movies.
Yeah, there was I forget who directed it.
I don't remember either.
I forgot, but it was. Definitely a well done movie.
I will always give a movie props if they go a different way stylistically, like they take a risk with that, or if it's an original story altogether. So like even when there's sequels and stuff, I'm always a little bit like, all right, can we come up with new story ideas? But if they at least come through with like a totally new like voice or something, like Thor Ragnarok. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't like it.
No.
Fair. I enjoyed
Did not like that movie.
I enjoyed it, but what I would give it props though because it was so different than the other ones. Like,
right.
It was like clear, like a different kind of voice. The colors were different. Like the music was different. Like it was like this weird stark contrast to how it was in the previous movies, and I respect that.
Not to harp on it too long, but Rogue One, I loved because one, it was just a different feel, like Ken was saying, like a spy movie type of thing. Felicity Jones did an unbelievable job. She was amazing in that. Also, it kind of not bridges the gap, but I feel like when you watch episode 4, A New Hope, for the first time, they kind of put you right in the middle of the action, and there's like a whole story that happens before that.
Yeah.
That moment where, Star Trek is on the ship with Leia, and he's right there, and there's like a whole like story that is missing because you're put right into the action.
Right.
Rogue One tells you that story, which is super awesome.
Yeah.
And and also on top of that, this is like one of the few times where a movie did like redid the whole movie like right before it came out.
Really?
They like reshot like 6% of the movie like
what?
4 months before it came out.
Really?
And this is like one of the few times where a movie has done that where it actually turned out well.
Yeah, I feel like that's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, but this time it actually worked out like in their favor.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Because if you watch the first trailer, half the shots. If you watch that first trailer, half those shots aren't in the movie. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, there was that. I was disappointed. There was one shot in particular that I thought looked so cool in the trailer. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
They're running, and it's kind of like POV, like first person, and they're running through, and whatever that walker destroy, whatever that big robot. Star Wars nerds will hate me, but whatever that is, and like it's shooting down, and they're like running. That was such a cool shot, and they the whole movie I was waiting for that to come out, and they cut it.
Well, then there was even like a lot of dialogue that was super cool in the trailer cut because of what they make the final cut. But so I'm kind of curious to see like if I could like if you become like a Disney actor, like you want to go to Pixar.
That'd be so fun.
You gotta find me that original cut of that film.
I'll go digging in the archives.
Yes. Solo, definitely on the lower tier of Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I hear pretty much as bad stuff.
I liked it because it gave a background to Han Solo and who he is, and we kind of know Leia and Luke's backstory kind of from the previous Star Wars movies, but we don't really know lots about Han Solo.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see that story, but again, not as well done. Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson, you done messed up. You, here's what I'll say. Not as bad as everyone on social media is making it out to be. Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the movie. I actually enjoyed a lot of parts of it.
Yeah.
The highs were great. But the low points were really low.
Give me an example, because I never went back to watch it again, and all I was like, oh, I liked that twist. Like I really enjoyed that scene. Like there were some combat scenes that I really enjoyed, and then people were saying that it was so bad, but I couldn't think of specific ways that it was bad. Really, like what was like a cringy part or a part you really didn't like about Last Jedi?
How they wrote Luke's character. Literally, like. Yeah. Almost everything that Luke says and or does is like super contradictory to his character that we've known for years. Yeah. So like,
you mean like the young Luke from the originals?
Like there was very little resemblance between the two. Yeah. Which I think is why Mark Hamill had such a tough time with shooting that movie.
Yeah, I heard him complaining about it a lot.
He complained about it. He took back everything he said, then he complained about it again. Yeah. So that tells you how he really feels about it.
Once you go out and say the same thing again.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man? Like, just stick with it.
Yeah. Me and Jess were talking about this on the car ride to the theater. How much the character of Rose sucks. Nothing against Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose. Sure. But
the character, you don't like the character.
The character is awful. There was literally no use for her. She added literally nothing to the storyline. She was annoying. Nothing. Yeah, I don't know. She randomly kisses Finn.
Finn, yeah, that's right.
Or saves him. Which I thought was one of the worst things I've seen in cinema ever.
I kind of wanted him to die. I did want him to die.
I would have been okay with it.
I feel like Game of Thrones has spoiled us. I like seeing characters die now.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but now so many, like, I really like Marvel movies because I grew up with comic books, and I understand that, like, comic books would run for hundreds of issues, and so the character's not going to die in the movie. That's part of what makes it like a superhero story.
Right.
So like you have to go in understanding that. But I feel like now other movies will lean into that and be like, oh, well, this character also doesn't have to die. Like Star Wars does that a lot.
Absolutely.
And that bothers me because it's like you're not going to have as many of these movies. You only have this trilogy. You kill them off. How happy do we need the happy ending to be? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't want a happy ending. I want a good ending.
I want a good ending. Yes. Bros, man.
Happy endings are overrated. I want an ending that makes me think, an ending makes me reflect, an ending that has me feeling complicated emotions. I don't want to just feel happy all the time.
No.
That's boring. You've been through that. I'm not a child anymore. Give me something real, something concrete, you know?
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the Rise of Skywalker? Get right into it.
So let's, before we even talk about the movie.
Before we talk about the movie.
You go first.
Okay.
You say your thing.
Before we even get to the movie, well, spoiler warning, first of all.
If you listen to this podcast and anywhere in the title or description there's a movie that's mentioned, it's going to be spoiled.
Yeah.
So just know that going in.
Just don't even bother.
Just a disclaimer.
But if you've been listening so far, you haven't seen the movie yet, immediately click off because I'm about to go into spoilers.
For sure.
What I was going to say, before we get into the movie, I just want to say I spent I was telling you this, I literally watched like half of the movies like within the 36 hours before I saw the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like I literally took half a day off work to watch the movies.
Wow. Yeah.
I should give myself more time.
Wait, so did you watch the original trilogy? Did you watch the newest trilogy?
I watched them in chronological order.
All of them?
Yeah.
Every single Star Wars movie?
I mean, throughout the week, yeah.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. You literally watched all of them.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Okay, I thought you just watched like the newer stuff.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good lord.
I was done after that.
Yeah, man, that is exhausting.
Yeah.
That is so much.
I
was gonna say before we talk about how the movie literally was, I want to talk about the particular theater we were in for a sec. So we walked in, it was
my favorite
like
theater in the world.
The what?
My favorite theater in the world.
Like
it's
the AMC Rosedale?
Yeah, that's my theater.
I love AMC Rosedale. That's great.
What about it though?
When we were there that day, first off, just to paint the picture, because I feel like anytime you consume like a movie or like an album, like your mood going into it is going to affect how you think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So my mood going in, I'm hopeful. I want it to be good, but I'm also, I've heard like whispers and whatever that like critics aren't liking it. So I'm like, all right, I hope this is good, but it might not be. But then we walk in, and did you notice how like we sit down and the lights, like the overhead lights, were on for like the first minute or two of the movie?
I was so livid.
And we bought like the nice tickets too, and we're like sitting there. I'm like, what is going on?
If I'm spending $25 a ticket
to
see this, it better be damn good.
Yeah.
No. Do you see out of the corner of your eye like a guy walked down and like talked to the people?
I applaud that man.
I almost got on my seat to like give him a round of applause.
I was actually kind of surprised people didn't clap, but the movie was underway, so I understand. But I think everyone saw that.
Dude,
and appreciated
I was heated. Also, too many previews. Like
too many.
And
too many.
This is a guy, and I love previews. Like part of the movie experience for me is like sitting down and watching all the previews.
It's kind of the closest thing we have to like the olden days where you would see like the newsreel and you'd see a Bugs Bunny cartoon and all that. We don't get that anymore. The closest we get is previews.
And there were too many of them.
Too many.
I love them. Give me a solid like 5 or 6, and then get underway. Mm-hmm. We saw like 10 previews plus like a 10-minute like short film thing of like an IMAX movie coming out.
Yeah.
Too much.
I think it was a Christopher Nolan one. Tenet, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much.
It was like a 5 or 6 minute.
I thought me and Jess were talking to each other. We thought we were in the wrong theater.
Yeah.
Too much.
It was way too much.
Too much.
Yeah, but just the lights were driving me crazy. The lights were on the overhead, and they were just so you could see, if you looked back, you just saw everybody's faces. Like, I need the theater to be dark. I feel like that's a pitch black. I want to be able to actually see the movie. And like, so the screen you were seeing the glare of the lights on there, and I was like, this is not a fair start.
Pissing me off.
I'm already going in this movie with the wrong mood.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help it.
It was nice though, because we were in actual IMAX theater.
Yeah, it was nice.
Granted, 90% of IMAX theaters aren't actual IMAX, but it's the closest thing we're gonna get in our area.
Yeah.
In the Twin Cities.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, overall.
But like fun, they had like everything was carpeted, so like the sound was better. Mm-hmm. Like we were actually in the perfect seating for it. Even though I like the front row, I was considerate of my friends.
Yes.
So we got the middle, left, the front of the back, which was a
Yeah.
perfect scene for that.
Pretty solid.
So let's go into the actual movie. I know we keep saying that for a long time, but let's talk about the actual movie. Me and Jess, the first thing we said to each other walking out of the car was, the beginning was way too rushed.
Thank you. I thought so too. Not good. Beginning was not good.
Like, there was, okay, so like, everyone listen to this right now. So like how you'll, like, there'll be like the music will start and like you see the yellow text like going up the screen.
Iconic. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that iconic text. Gave us literally like no context to what was happening.
I felt like that was the shortest rolling like text thing I've ever seen at the beginning of a Star Wars movie.
And guess what? It didn't tell us anything
Almost
about
nothing.
anything. And then the first 15 minutes of the movie, you're just jump cutting from place to place to character.
Wild jump cuts.
No, you have no idea what's happening. You have no idea what's going on. Everything is just so confusing.
Star Wars movies always start with like some sort of chase scene or some sort of battle. So I understand that they would try to go in fast, but it was like way too fast. Like, what are you doing? Like, they do, what was that
Slow
thing,
down.
like that hyper jump skipping, whatever they called it, like where you would go into hyperdrive, but then you'd come out of it, and they were calling like skipping or something. They were doing that, and basically they would like keep on, they would go into like that hyperdrive thing, and then they would come out of it, and they would be in some different world, and then they would do it again and again and again, and it was like, what is going on?
That's what the first 20 minutes of the movie felt like.
Totally ridiculous. The beginning and the end of the movie I did not enjoy. But the middle, there were parts of the middle that I really liked a lot, but then most of the beginning and the end I thought sucked.
How did you feel about Palpatine coming back?
Yeah. Okay. So
I liked the movie too. He came back like ASAP.
What do you mean?
Like he came, like you didn't like waste time to like build up to him.
They literally say that at the very beginning in the text. They're like, Palpatine lives. Like, all right, cat's out of the bag. Here we go. I feel like the start of the movie it didn't get me going right away. There were some scenes with Rey early on. I was like, okay, she's grounding the movie nicely. She's kind of bringing me into a little bit. Because partially they just had longer cuts. Like, it just like the camera stayed in one place for longer, and just they let things actually just happen somewhat naturally.
Sure.
Versus just forcing all of these things to happen just crazy. So I liked that. One thing that drives me crazy about sequels is when it'll kind of undo something big that you thought happened in a previous movie. So
again, Rian Johnson messed up.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, Ken.
Yeah. I don't know. What did you think about Palpatine? Like just him being in the movie at all?
Loved it.
You liked it?
Yeah. Fun twist. Fun for me.
Yeah.
Love the character of the Emperor. The movie in general, it was pretty good. Not great, not terrible, but pretty good.
Yeah. Enjoyable.
It was they wrapped it up okay. It wasn't an Avengers type wrap up or it was perfect or anything.
Right.
Definitely some plot holes in the movie, but it was all right the way they wrapped it up.
Yeah.
With that said, there was one thing in particular that set me off. I was like pacing back and forth in the theater for like 20 minutes after the movie was done with Jess. This is gonna get to some nerdy stuff.
Go in.
So, if you're a Star Wars fan, and you like do deep dives on characters, story arcs, lineage, all that stuff, you know that Anakin Skywalker was conceived by the Force and her mother, Shmeeg. Is that how you say her name? Shmeeg?
I don't remember. But
I think
virgin.
Shmeeg Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. If you do a deep dive, you'll know that how she was actually conceived was through Palpatine. And Palpatine used the Force to impregnate Shmeeg so that Anakin would be his apprentice.
Yeah, creepy.
Super creepy. I wanted this addressed in the movie.
Okay.
This was like the perfect opportunity for it.
Yeah.
I was expecting it. I was super psyched for it.
Yeah.
What I hated was they pretend like it didn't happen at all, even though this is Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
This is like official Star Wars canon that Shmi Skywalker was impregnated by the Force via Palpatine.
So weird.
So, technically...
I didn't know that, actually.
Technically, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
Leia Skywalker, and Ben Solo are all descendants of Palpatine. Which means that Rey is related to all of them.
Yeah. Okay.
However, the movie implied that it was two distinct, different bloodlines.
It did?
Yes.
Did it do at the end? At the very
Throughout the
end?
entire movie.
I don't know if I caught on to that.
Yeah. Because Palpatine is saying, like, I'm going to use these two special bloodlines to, make the power in me, whatever.
Yeah.
So, the fact that they acted like, oh, no, this part canon, that's play out the window, we're going to do our own thing, literally set me off so much. I was expecting for that twist, from the reveal of that, and to make it known, to, like, confirm it, even though it's been confirmed in the past, to, like, actually confirm it in the movie.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to make our own thing happen.
Weird.
And it was, oh, dude.
Just angry.
Livid.
And once the movie finished, you just, like, covered your head and just leaned forward.
That's why.
And I was like, all right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Because I knew that. So half through the movie, I'm like, okay, they're not gonna do this story. It sucks.
Yeah.
And then they have Rey and Ben Solo kiss.
Oh yeah.
What the hell, man?
Weird. Really weird.
Why would you?
That was so weird.
So out of place.
Why did they? I really felt like I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Back away. And then they did it. It's like, what's going on?
And then you think
that was so unnecessary.
And to add to my agony of that.
Yeah.
They had what's his face, Finn, said he was gonna tell her something right before they were gonna die or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they don't reveal what he was gonna say to her later on.
Yeah, you never find out. You're right. I didn't even notice that.
Again, similar to The Last Jedi. Yeah. High points were great. Low points for me, really, really low.
That kiss made me so uncomfortable, dude.
Right?
So uncomfortable. What are you doing?
There was no buildup of romantic tension.
I didn't think there was any.
Because in the previous two movies,
yeah,
their connection was they were both the most force-sensitive people in the world, and they had a power that only the other person could understand.
Yeah.
But there was no implication of a romantic connection there. And then out of nowhere, in the woodworks, J.J. Abrams was like, no, we're going to have these two smooch before he dies.
JJ, why? I don't understand why. Super weird. I was so uncomfortable when that was happening.
So uncomfortable.
Came out and like it just dropped out of nowhere.
It didn't even feel like passionate or like you felt the love. It was just like they kissed. You're like, ugh. Like it was almost repulsive.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Super gross, man.
Oh my goodness.
What was something you liked about the movie?
Okay, and I thought about this over the weekend. The music in Star Wars is actually very underrated.
I think so too.
As far as the scores go.
I was thinking about this. Rey's theme throughout. I'm a really big fan of her theme.
Big fan of it.
Yeah, it's good.
Big fan of it.
It's really good. That was I think back to my favorite scenes, and almost all of them I think include her music in there somewhere.
Because everyone knows, even if you haven't seen Star Wars before, everyone knows both the opening credits theme and everyone knows Darth Vader's theme. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, iconic.
But I think we don't give enough credit to John Williams for the whole score in general and how great it is, really.
He's a legend.
He is. He did such a great job. Rey's theme, like you said, is a very underrated score. So throughout the movie, I was thinking about that, and I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I think Rey was probably my favorite part of the movie. It had certain elements that were reminiscent of the original series. For example, I'm almost positive they used real puppets in some of those aliens.
They did a few times, yes. Yeah,
and I thought that was actually really fun. I don't know what it is. I like it. Adds like a dimension to it that's really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because like in my head, it's like, oh, I want CGI. I don't care about puppets. But like, there's a realness to the puppet that like you just can't do with CGI. Like unless the CGI is done super, super well, I'd almost rather have puppets.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
100%. And also, I think if you want to make a Star Wars movie, that's one of those things that I don't know if people realize, but that's one of the things that's really fun about those movies.
Yeah,
like
totally.
one of like kind of the staples, and maybe not talked about as much, but super fun. So I really liked that a lot. I really liked parts of the music. I thought were good.
Me and Jess were talking in the car on the way back home, and we said one of our favorite parts of the movie was that they completely got rid of Rose's character and all our dialogue. Like she literally had like 3 lines of dialogue in the entire movie, and we were so happy about that.
Yeah, that was definitely for the best. One person,
again,
yeah.
I have to say this again for the record. Nothing against Kelly Tran who plays Rose. Nothing against her personally. I just hate the character so much.
Agreed.
And
I wasn't a huge fan of
they pretty much got rid of her, and that made me so much more happy. So
that one guy though from Lord of the Rings, either Pippin or Merry, he's in it. Has he been in the other movies? Did I just miss him?
Oh yeah, he was also in Lost.
Yeah. Wait. He was in. Was he in Last Jedi or he? Or
No. He was just in there.
Just why? Dude,
but just looked at each other and we started laughing when
yes, I couldn't. I was like looking, and I was like, he looks so familiar. He has like a very round feature, like a bulbous nose. I'm like, he looks like, and then I realized he's a hobbit.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
That was very humorous. Yeah.
I don't understand.
I didn't hate it though. They didn't give him like an actual like role. He's just like another character that they throw lines to, which I didn't mind.
Yeah, but they threw him a lot of lines. He was in so many shots prominently. Sometimes it's fun when cameos happen. Like, I haven't seen it yet, but Mandalorian, like Bill Burr is in an episode.
I know, I'm so excited. I haven't seen Mandalorian yet. Super excited to see him.
So I'm not against like
especially
super
like, he hates Star Wars too.
He
hates Star Wars.
He
he's
roasted it, and now he's like in it. Yeah, I like when people will have really great cameos that you don't necessarily expect, but for some reason it just stuck out to me weird, and I felt like he was in too many shots. Like he'd be running like, come on, like and his face turning right into camera like too many times, and I was like, what is going on? That really bothered me, but that's very nitpicky.
Interesting.
Yeah, that bothered me a lot though.
That didn't bother me.
I like him though.
But I could see why I see why it bothered some people. I think it bothered Jess too a little bit.
Yeah.
I like how they brought back Lando. Super fun.
That was fun.
Super fun. They didn't use him too much, but they used him just enough to like make it tastefully. He was enjoyable. Yeah. They gave him some funny lines. He was useful to the plot, but like not too convenient to the story.
Agreed.
So they use Lando very well in that.
He kind of saves the day once or twice for them, but in not like super major ways, but like helpful, like in the way that you would think he would want to help like Han Solo in the original trilogy. Like he'd kind of swoop in like this cool sly way and like have kind of a plan and help them like scheme out something, and then he's kind of gone for a big part of the story. Mm-hmm. He was great.
Carrie Fisher. Mm-hmm. They gave her the perfect send-off in my opinion. That was one of the highlights for me. I thought the way they wrapped up her story, with saving Ben, or I guess pretty much just saving Ben Solo. I really loved how they wrapped up her storyline, her part of the saga. I thought it was really, really well done what they did with Princess Leia's character, like super well done.
Yeah, she
definitely
had a
highlight
very.
For me.
Obviously, spoilers. This whole thing is spoilers. But one thing that was actually kind of nice, they kind of played into almost Luke and Leia being parental figures to Rey.
Yeah,
totally. And I think they actually did that pretty well, because that's basically what they've been for her the whole time. But they leaned into it a little bit more. Leia definitely had this very she really felt like her mom in that, which I thought was like really cool.
Initially, and this is like the last scene in the movie where you see Rey burying the 2 lightsabers from Luke and Leia, and then she lights up her own. Mm-hmm. And then someone asks, no one's been here in decades. Who are you? Yeah. And then she looks off to the distance. She sees the Force ghosts of Luke and Leia. Yeah. Which is Rise Skywalker. And the first thing was like, okay, that's kind of cheesy. Yeah, a little bit. And they see her. She looks into the sunset of the 2 suns with BB-8 right next to her. Yeah. But then I walked out there. I was like, no. That was really good. It was cheesy.
A little cheesy.
But like looking back on all, like thinking about it, I actually really enjoyed that.
Dude, I think what bothers me.
I don't mind if cheesy's done.
Yeah.
Like there's over the top cheesy and there's like, okay, this is a little cheesy, but I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
I actually did enjoy that scene. Now looking back, maybe not in the moment, but looking back, I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm alright with it. I can have the saga end that way, and that's alright with me.
It ties, that part of it ties up pretty nicely, so I'm not mad at it for that. I think what is hard for me to get past is I'm just not used to seeing the Jedi ghosts or whatever, like them coming back, and sometimes the way that they like enter the scene feels just strange to me. And there's probably no way around that.
Yeah.
But like I think that's partially why I don't like like Luke's hand just juts out of like the smoke and fire to catch the lightsaber, or like I think like a cloud passes, like I forget how she sees her pair, Luke and Leia in like the sky, but it just feels a little weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of sweet. One moment that I kind of enjoyed. What did you think about that scene right before Lando kind of comes and saves them, where it's that like traditional dance, like they're coming to see. They're looking for whatever, and they see that festival that's happening with all the dancing and the music. Did you like that? Did you not like that? What did you think?
Dude.
What did you think?
I looked at Jess, was like, this is lit. It was fun.
It was kind of fun.
I actually kind of liked it.
I liked it too.
It was only like a brief, minute and a half, 2 minute scene, but I liked it.
It was fun. It was a
fun.
bold choice. And it was cute. And when Rey's talking with the little kid or whatever, and talking about how she doesn't have parents and stuff, that was a sweet moment. And then they go into the caravan, and that's when they meet Lando.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice.
I feel like if it would have been any longer than that, it would have felt like dragged on. But it was like shortened to the point, and like it set things up well.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like that scene a lot, because it was fun for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's go back to the actual storyline.
That's also kind of like another Star Wars staple, some sort of like big group of people with like live music playing, like
Yeah.
some sort of, whether it's the
Like a casino,
the
a bar.
casino, like the classic casino one.
Yeah.
In the prequels, I feel like there was multiple like
bars.
clubs or whatever
Yeah,
that they went into.
for sure.
Which is a little bit weirder, but yeah, I thought it was kind of fun though. I liked that.
Before we wrap up, let's just give our final thoughts on the Rise of Skywalker and the whole Star Wars saga as well.
I would say that I liked parts of the newest movie, but I don't think I would watch it again. Star Wars overall I'm still a big fan of it. I really liked it. I really hope that just like moviegoers in general, they start demanding and hoping for more original stories. I'm always down for that. I really support that. Maybe some people were disappointed and reviews weren't great, partially because people want something new, and it felt a little bit too nostalgic, not great, like the beginning and end wasn't fantastic. But yeah, the middle was decent. I liked some of the parts, and I'm kind of glad that it's done, to be honest. I'm curious to see what Mandalorian is like, because I've heard basically nothing but good things about it, and Jon Favreau, I've heard, has been just killing it.
Yep.
And I'm excited that like some sort of Star Wars story is going on, and I really hope that they don't try to remake any of these 9 movies.
Well, come 3 years from now, we'll probably be
4 years.
seeing the redo. I actually have a couple different thoughts on both the movie and the saga in general. Here's what I'll say. Again, not a great movie, but pretty good movie. And I think it does actually wrap up the Skywalker saga in a decent way. Was it perfect? No. Were there plot holes like I mentioned before? Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Especially one eyesore to me. I still can't get over that. But in general, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think, and this is what I was thinking about for a lot of the weekend was, this is kind of like the last like big saga that we have.
That's interesting.
Like for example, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Done. We're doing spin-off series, which will be fun, but the main story done. Lord of the Rings done. Marvel done.
Yeah, Phase 3 is done.
It's done. They're gonna build up for another 10 years for another finale of some sorts, but there'll never be one like this ever.
No.
That was Endgame was it.
Yeah. I agree.
Narnia. Well, that'll be okay. That'll be a different episode.
Yeah.
Because I have some very strong feelings on that.
Yeah,
That'll be a different episode.
Yeah.
Harry Potter done. Even though they're doing a
Yeah.
prequel series right now, and they have a few movies left. That story's done.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like, I don't want to say depressing, but it's kind of like
It is a little bittersweet.
I don't have like a saga to like look forward to anymore.
It is fun, and I think that's part of the reason why people want series so bad. Like, they want the story to continue. They want that feeling that they got when they watched it. But I don't know. Start new series then. Like, what's I don't know, man. Like, I love like Indiana Jones when I was little.
But the part of the reason why we love sagas and like love like long stories like this is because they do have some root in nostalgia. I think having some nostalgia is important. I don't think it should be the main focus or what you should be going for every time, but there should be some of that played into it.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, overall, Disney didn't totally botch the series. Definitely made some mistakes.
Yeah.
But they didn't totally botch it.
Yeah, I think people are a little bit too hard on Disney.
Yeah, I mean, Disney's given us so much that we love. I mean, most of what we love in film and TV and is Disney.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't hate on them too much, but they do make mistakes from time to time.
They do.
And they made some mistakes in The Last Jedi and with The Rise of Skywalker. But
Yeah.
I think, like I said, looking back on it more, having some distance from the movie for the past 48 hours, not much time. Yeah. But looking back on it, they did a decent job of wrapping up the series and all that. So
This is good. This is fun.
Is that it for us, Ken? Are we wrapping up here?
Let's wrap it up.
Guys, thank you for listening. We will have a Gmail account, Instagram, YouTube page set up. Yeah. You guys can reach out to us. We will be putting out more content in the future. We're just getting started.
If there are albums or comedy specials or movies or TV shows
yes.
relatively new, relatively released recently would be ideal that you want us to talk about, let us know. We're open to suggestions. We want to hear what you guys want to hear.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you want to reach out to me, my Instagram, Beza, Baeza, Tensaya, Tensaie. You can follow me, reach out to me there. Ken, give me your socials.
KP Martin 2, KPMartin 2, and yeah, hit me up if you have any questions about the show or anything like that. Let us know.
Guys, that's the first episode. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
God bless.